right, so welcome back to episode 4B, 4B of Star Trek Next Frontier, the Orphaned, Part 2, or Part B, I should say. All right, going to roll 20 to get things set up. We are going to resume in the transporter room where we left off. Again, you just started beaming Lieutenant Alder over to the unknown transport. And because of the subspace disturbances, because of all that, it was very difficult. But Velik, the chief engineer, you're the most trained, so you were able to do the very difficult transport technique, especially since there seems to be no transporter room on the other side, so there's nothing to make it a very clean, easy connection. The problem is that just as the transport seems successful, and it should be successful, that's when you start getting all the warning lights on your console that something is amiss. And on the bridge, Commander Lulk, he also, of course, registers that there's a massive error happening in the transport, and he radios down to you asking, Commander Velik, report, what's happening?
We seem to have some sort of error with the transporting.
So as you look at your console, as you're trying to figure out what it is, what you can see is the transport is being successful, but it's stalling at the end because it seems like the pattern for Lieutenant Alder is out of phase with the ship itself. It's like he's somehow become unfazed with the proper frequency, I would say, of subspace that's needed to get him to materialize properly. Without it phased correctly, he runs the risk of materializing inside of a bulkhead or halfway through the floor rather than standing there like a person normally would when they're being transported. So while he's stuck in this beam, you have to figure out what course of action you would like to take with it. So what are you thinking right now, Commander Velik?
Well, first I've got to see if I can find a way to maybe get him back in sync. Would that be a possibility?
Yes, you can make that attempt. Yes, sure.
Okay, so that's what I'd like to try then.
All right. So if it's for that, you are going to have to do a, it would be your choice. It's depending on how you visualize yourself doing this. It could be either daring or control plus engineering.
I think, well, it's kind of a shot in the dark, so daring would probably be better.
Okay, so you're like on the spot, you're jumping like this is not
right
something normal. Okay, so then we'll do a daring and control engineering. This is going to be a difficulty of 2, meaning of course you need 2 successes for it to succeed. And it has also a critical rating of 2, or was it a critical rating? What's it called? Is it critical or complication range? That's it. Complication range of 2. Different CR. Okay. So on your character sheet, of course.
Yeah.
You'll click daring. You'll click engineering. Complication range 2. Focus use. What kind of focuses do you have, sir? Something that would help in this?
So I've got warp field. So I've got observation, electroplasma power systems, warp field dynamics, computers, investigation, and fusion reactors.
No, it doesn't sound like this would apply to transport here. Are you going to buy any extra dice, or do you have any talent that could be used?
Let's see. Well, I've got bold.
Bold, and yeah, bold engineering, just like we were talking about before. So this would be just like the conversation we just had, this would be one of the situations that were you to buy extra dice, in this situation, it would be best with your bold, especially if you were doing a daring, then it kind of fits even thematically too. Buying by adding threat rather than spending the 2 momentum,
Okay,
because you would be able to re-roll. What does it say? Is it just 1 die? Yeah, so any die you re-roll, you can re-roll 1 die if you buy extra dice with threat. That's right. So
okay,
if you did that, then again, it's just the same as rolling the dice as normal, but you get 1 free re-roll in case you fail it. So it's your call if that's what you want to do.
yeah, let's do that then.
So 1 die or 2?
1 die.
Okay, so that adds 1 threat to the pool. So we'll put
Right,
that
so
there.
that's task roll, that brings the task roll up to 3 then?
Task roll goes up to 3. Yes.
Okay. Okay, all set?
Wait, can I just check one more thing?
Sure.
One more thing. I'm sorry. I don't remember if I wrote it on your sheet or if it's part of it. I might have to check the rule book, but I think the chief engineer also gets like an engineering crew as a trait. I'll look that up later, but at the same time, the
We had,
ship,
didn't we talk, we did something like that last
yeah,
last one, didn't we?
and I didn't write anything down on the sheet again because
So I do, this sounds very familiar, so
It does.
I think there is, yeah.
I believe so. So I think let's just assume that there is, especially since we already established you have an engineering crew with you that you're training to do this transporter. So they will help by lowering the difficulty down to 1 then. But the critical, complication range is still 2. And somebody needs to roll for the DeGrasse Tyson as well. Who would like to do that?
I suppose I might as well, right?
Yeah, you're the one stuck in the beam, right?
Seeing I'm stuck there.
Okay, that might be all you do this game before you're like ripped to shreds in the transporter.
Okay, we all set?
Yeah, go ahead. You could do your roll already, Velik, and then we'll catch up with the DeGrasse Tyson after. Okay, let's roll down. So one success, and using your engineering team advantage with you, that's enough you need to succeed. So let's see if the DeGrasse Tyson gets. Remember, DeGrasse Tyson always a task roll of 1. It's always going to roll only 1 die, but it's still
complication range. You were saying was still
2. That's 2.
2. Okay, all right, let's go.
There you go. So
Oh,
you succeed and you bank 1 extra momentum. So crew momentum is up to 3 right now. Okay. So Velik, you start compensating for the phase differential, and you're finally, after doing your calculations with your team support, you are able to compensate and adjust it. So when Lieutenant Alder materializes on the other side, he materializes solidly inside the ship. Okay. And you can breathe a sigh of relief as he goes over. So let's see, we'll cut over to
Transporter mortalities have a lot of paperwork.
yeah, you did not want to put up with that. Okay. That would be the whole next episode, just Velik sitting in his office filling out things. Okay, I'll roll 20. Can you see the next screen, the next ship? Everyone there? We're there. Okay, so Lieutenant Alder, you materialize like right in the middle of this large, spacious room, dimly lit. There's definitely, you could tell instantly upon materializing that there is a haze in the atmosphere and a very strong, acidic, pungent smell in the air that's already irritating your throat and making you choke a bit as you're standing there. Directly in front of you in 2 chairs at what looks to be a very old-fashioned style control console. Old-fashioned in the sense that ships aren't usually built this way these days, but At the same time, it has a vastly different layout and structure than any vessel you've been on from any species in the Alpha Quadrant. They are, as you can see in the image, representation of them, not completely accurate, but best we could do on Roll20. They're very thin, elongated limbs, elongated neck, bald aliens. From just looking around, it seems it could be, although they look similar, they might actually be different species, different races, because there's a lot of difference in the way that their bodies look. Very similar to how a Vulcan and a human look vaguely similar, but different enough that you know it's a different species. There's a number of small, either small statured or definitely children appearing aliens, lying on the floor or sitting on the floor. Some are crying, some are coughing and choking, some are unconscious, but the two older looking ones are sitting at the control console.
Okay, well, I first want to just whip out my tricorder and just sort of scan the air to see if there's not mist you were saying, but the sort, is the air safe to breathe? Am I in any trouble?
Okay. Yes, go right ahead.
Okay, what do I roll for that though?
That would just be a control and science.
Control science.
And this will be a difficulty 0 with your tricorder.
Control and science.
Complication range of 1.
So I have to keep juggling on a small screen here. Difficulty range 1, you said, right?
Control range 1. So, or complication range 1. Jeez, I can't get my words right.
And a roll of 2. So, let's see, did I? No, I didn't.
Okay. Yeah, you get 1 extra momentum built up. So, there we go. And do you get something extra? Very specific.
Let's see, as a science then.
You get the bonus momentum. That's right.
I also see, yeah, because when using a tricorder, right, I generate 1 bonus momentum.
Yes.
Which can be used to obtain information.
Yes. And again, just a message again for everyone, obtain information can be used on nearly every role that you could discern information from. So anytime you want to like dig into more of what's going on, you can always spend the momentum and ask a question about what that role would be able to tell you, but to dig deeper in it. So again, keep that in mind. But yeah, you get 1 extra one right now, in addition to the 4 that is currently in the pool.
Okay, so 4 plus the 1. Mm-hmm.
What your scan shows immediately is that there are a lot of toxins in the air. It looks like a lot of fumes or exhaust would be the best way from some type of an engine.
Okay, well, the first thing I want to do is I actually want to communicate back to the ship. So I'd like to tell Commander Lulk that I think speed is of the essence and we should actually start transporting them now because the air is pretty toxic. So I'm worried about, you know, anyone collapsing before we've got a chance to sort of communicate with the captain of this ship.
Lulk radios back that understood. He agrees, and he calls down to Velik to have Velik start prepping to beam over the survivors.
Okay. And then secondly, I want to see, is there any way I could know offhand or by looking who the captain is? I'd actually like to approach probably the 2 older looking aliens at the control at the console and try and communicate with them.
Sure. Do you have, are you going to use that bonus momentum for anything else on your scan?
I'm trying to think. There's nothing specifically I need to know about the gas as such, right?
No, I mean, just anything that you want.
Yeah.
Would like to ask. I mean,
no,
okay, that's fine.
I think I'll just let it drop.
Okay. Okay, yeah, the 2 in the at the command console, they turn to you just as you materialize in and you start your scan, and they overhear you talking to the captain. They look scared. Both of them look scared. The one over here, if you could see on roll 20, the one with the smoother complexion is female and appears, you would guess, to be younger than the oldest one that's sitting there, although he doesn't look ancient, but he definitely looks like the oldest of the crew. They're looking at you with a mixture of fear and apprehension in their faces. The girl, like as soon as you materialize in, she started like she was about to get up and run, but then she sat back down and is just staring intently at you. They both look pretty worn down, and you can see instantly that like especially the older one, the male, he's wearing what could strike you as a militaristic uniform, maybe similar to Starfleet style uniform, but very simple. But it's very dirty, it's ripped, it's damaged, and he's clearly wounded, as are a lot of the children on the floor.
Okay, well, I'm gonna move straight towards like the older of the two, and try and communicate with them. My name is Lieutenant Darius Alder. I'm the science officer from the ship that's in communication with you. I've asked to start transporting everyone off here as soon as possible. Unfortunately, I don't think we can save your ship. Do you need any medical attention?
He looks at you and says, yes, please, if you could help it, all of us, please. We've, the children especially, many of them have received severe burns from the engines.
Okay, I'm gonna once again whip out my tricorder, just start scanning him, just seeing the extent of his injuries then.
Okay, no more roll needed for that one. It would just be pretty clear and obvious from your previous roll at scanning him that it looks like he's got a lot of burns on him. It looks like a couple of cuts and like pieces of shrapnel, like bits of metal stuck around the wounds. Nothing life-threatening though. He just seemed like he's really banged up, but nothing life-threatening. Okay,
I'd like to transport you back to our doctor, but could I ask, like, which one of you is the captain?
They look at each other, the two sitting down, and the older one says, well, we don't have a captain per se, but I'm flying the ship.
So would you say you're in charge, or who would be the most senior person?
That would be me. He seems like really taken by surprise by the question of who's in charge. He looks over at the smooth younger alien female and said, we are kind of working together. She has been helping me very, very much.
Okay, before I transport you back, would you be able to tell me, how did your ship end up here and what happened to it?
It's the Order. They're trying to take back the children, and they're trying to get us. Can we please get to your ship quickly?
Okay, thanks. I'll send you back immediately. Is there anything else I should know about the ship before we leave here, or is it safe to transport immediately?
Are you asking me or are you asking him?
I'm asking him.
Please just, I don't care about the ship. Just, if you can get us out of here, that would be wonderful.
Okay, I want to communicate back with the ship and speak with Commander Lulk.
Okay, and what do you want to talk about?
Commander, I don't think there's much of a reason to say any further. I've spoken to two of the aliens who are effectively in charge of the ship, and they've requested to be transported off. Several younger aliens, as well as the most senior one, have got injuries. So I suppose the sooner the better we treat it as well, with the ship disintegrating.
He agrees. He agrees and asked you to prepare everyone on board to be transported since they don't have comm badges.
Okay, so I'm gonna get the aliens into groups if I can, like with whatever fits into our then, and then communicate back to the ship engineering and at least ask them to start beaming them up in groups.
Okay. And then back to Velik real quick. So Velik, again, it's going to be the transporting itself, since you've already established how to do the transport, that's not going to be the problem for you. The problem you're going to face once they're prepared is you start transporting them over, trying to, you're pretty sure that that phase problem is going to happen again, and you're going to have to prepare for that. Now the problem would be, and here's up to you as the chief engineer, are you going to transport them directly to the transporter room where of course the equipment is, which is an easier transport than normal, or are you going to try transport the wounded directly to sickbay, which would then make it even more difficult?
Given the problems with the locking on, it's probably best to transport them directly to the transporter bay.
Okay. Then because of that, then you won't have to do a transporter roll itself, because it's pretty much going to follow the same sequence that you established for your advantage. Now, the phase problem here, I'm going to, because you got a good successful roll on the last time, you got 2 successes thanks to the deGrasse Tyson as well. You can do again, another create advantage momentum spend using what you've learned from that phase variance thing, and spend 2 momentum that disappear when I hold it up to camera. Haha, magic. So it you could spend these 2 to create another advantage that would be a way to compensate for the phasing, so you don't have to make a roll every single time.
Okay, yeah, let's do that then. Use
Okay.
the 2 momentum.
All right, so then we'll create a basically a phase adjustment subroutine. How's that?
Sounds good.
Phase adjustment. So now while you're doing the transport, now you're using the advantage that you created at the end of the last episode. And now with your expert knowledge on doing the phasing this time to save Lieutenant Alder, you're just creating a permanent advantage now to make sure that this type of transport transaction can go smoothly every time. That sound good?
Okay. Yeah.
All right, so you start transporting the aliens over onto the pad, and you see a lot of very young children looking aliens materializing on pad. Some can stand, some are unconscious, some look really bad, but of course the medical crew would be coming in and taking them to the sick bay one by one, of course security too, so everyone's kind of helping out. So as we do that, let's jump to the ice planet with our good friends. What's his name? And other guy. There we go. All right, to the ice planet, which did have a name, and I'm not going to look it up because it's not that important, right? Right. As I say, as I try to look
AK-87B.
Look at you. Look at you. Look at AK8. Yeah, it's 807B. Sent them to the wrong planet, Drake. You killed everyone.
Well, it would be the first time.
Rescue attempt failed. Look at you. Look at that. Oh my God. All right. So right now inside the shuttlecraft, inside your shuttlecraft, like your heads are ringing, like there's everything just seems fuzzy to you. You're lying on the ground, you're twisted around, you were just launched from whatever seat that you were sitting in. You felt your body crash into the roof of the shuttle before coming down onto your side, tumbling around. And this applies to all three of you as well as the captain. Like everything just went to chaos just in one moment as something slammed into the ship. Can you all give me a fitness and security roll? Fitness and security roll, difficulty of 1. Oh, one more thing, Thadagia, also please keep in mind that you still have 2 uses left of your expedition thing. So if you're outside of the shuttle again and you need to traverse the terrain, you still have 2 uses to swap your science discipline instead of whatever discipline would be required.
Okay.
So make note of that. All right.
So for the fitness roll, it's just a task roll of 2.
Oh, for you, Velik, you don't have to worry about that. This is just ice planet people.
Missed that part.
Oh, sorry. No, that's okay. On this one, just for ice planet. If the deGrasse Tyson got hit that hard, we'd be in really big trouble here. So, yeah, just for Drake, Thadagia, and Thishran right now. So you made your rolls. Let's see. Drake, and somebody has to roll for Thadagia since he can't use his thing. So who is not in the scene? Let me look. So you're over there. Let's see. Velik, would you like to do that since you've done the first roll, but that was the last roll you did? Could you roll for Thadagia then, since you were
Sure.
preparing your roll anyhow? Okay, so let's take a look at let's see, Drake, you got 2 successes, so that gains 1 momentum back, bringing you to 3. Thishran, you got 1 success. That's all you needed, so that's good. And
So
then
it's fitness and security.
it'll be,
Complication 1, task 2.
that's right. You got it. There you go. All 3 of you, you passed your roll. So after the huge impact, is finished and you're all just thrown like ragdolls around, you still manage to land properly so as to not injure yourselves. So none of you face anything negative from that impact, but you're just all lied twisted in the ball on the ground. All the equipment that was in the shuttle just got scattered all to hell. Things are broken, some monitors are cracked from things flying around, maybe even a flying knee kick from Thishran as he was launched from the pilot seat. But everything's all twisted there, but it's dead silence now. The rumbling has stopped, the shaking stopped, but right now, for the time being, the chaos instantly ended, and it's just the quietest you remember in a long time.
First things first, I want to try and find a tricorder to make sure it's not going to hit us again.
Okay, you scramble, get your tricorder out. Anyone else, you doing anything in the immediate action?
Computer status check.
The computer doesn't respond right now. So Shroud, anything from you?
As I'm coming to, I'm going to turn my attention quickly to the captain, make sure that she's all right.
Okay, you look at the captain and you see that she must have got the brunt of this. She has like a big gash on her forehead, and she is the only one that doesn't seem to be coming to like the rest of you.
Gotcha. I'm gonna look behind me, I guess, and call up to Thadagia. Say, hey, the captain's really injured over here.
Right, I'm going to pull out my tricorder, run a scan on her.
Okay. All right, that's both of you, Drake and Thadagia, give me a tricorder scan, difficulty 0, please. So again, that'll be now, Drake, your tricorder is an engineering tricorder, so it's not like the best for scanning for this stuff, but still it'll be able to pick up movement, so you don't have to worry about that. Both of you, again, difficulty 0, control, and science, basically. Okay, and Velik, could you roll for Thadagia again?
Sure, 1 sec. Same as last time.
This time, control and science.
Okay.
Okay, wow, that's interesting. So both of you got 1 each, so it's a 0. So you both get 2 bonus momentum, but you've also got you also both got complications as well. Both roll complications on that. So what we will do is, let's see, Lieutenant Drake. Okay, you're scanning and you pick up. You definitely pick up that there is still subterranean movement underneath the ship, underneath the shuttlecraft. However, we're going to say that because of, well, a combination of fact that it's an engineering tricorder and just the composition, like the snow and the elements there, the scattering effect means that you're not going to be able to lock on to it. You just know that it's there, but you don't know exactly where. It could be like 1 meter away. It could be 10 meters away. It could be 50 meters below you. It could be floating over your head. You're not getting it. It's too much of a scattering field, but you do know it is there still.
Okay, yeah, I'll let the crew know that it's still out there somewhere. I just can't pinpoint where, and we need to move quick.
Okay. As for the complication on Jean's roll, I am just going to bank that as 2 threat for the future instead of taking a thing. Okay.
Good.
All right. Then, all right. So, Jean, you scanned the captain, and yes, she's gotten banged up pretty bad. She got like a very severe head wound, and also combined with the fact that she has difficulty walking in the first place, you know, like the impact like that to her could really keep her immobilized, even if she were conscious. But she definitely needs to be the word's not coming to me. You definitely need to stabilize her right now, because that was a massive shot she took to the head.
All right, so I want to use my emergency, I believe I have emergency medicine or trauma surgery.
Oh, so right now, probably emergency medicine would be best until you know you're in a safe place if you want to do anything more severe than that. So with emergency medicine, that would need to be control and medicine, I believe. Or it could even be daring and medicine. Either way. Difficulty of 1. Yes. So it'll be a difficulty 1 and you use a focus. So that's what you want to do, correct?
Correct.
Hey, Terry, why don't you do the roll for him this time there? Keep you alive and active in this. So can you
Hey,
open,
what? Okay.
Can you open
Yes.
Thadagia's sheet? So, Jean, would you like that to be a daring, or would you like it to be a control with the medicine? Like how are you doing this? Are you doing it in a calm, collected way, or are you like trying to go as fast as possible? Maybe cutting corners because another attack might be on the way, according to Drake.
Yes, daring. Yeah,
Daring. Okay.
try to do this as quickly as possible.
Okay, and because you have a field medicine talent, you also get no difficulty increase without the proper tools for it. So we're going to say that this is just going to be a standard difficulty 1 then. Nothing's going to pop up there.
Okay, nice. So daring, medicine, and complication range 1, right?
Yes, and the roll of 2.
Focus, yes, no?
Yes, he has emergency
Yes,
medicine,
okay.
so yes.
And away we go.
Oh, there you go. There's three for you. So one maxes you out at 6. Now you have 2 left over, which you can also again use to create an advantage or spend it in some other way you want because it's going to disappear anyhow. Or even use it for obtain information if you want to know more about her condition. But
Condition.
that's a really good extra boost of 2 momentum. So advantage could really help stabilize her well. You could get more information. Those are the best bets right now. So what would you like to do?
Yeah, I just want to try to stabilize her even more until we can get to a better position.
All right, so then we'll say there's 2 momentum that cannot be saved. We'll create an advantage. So you want her to be in stable condition, right?
Correct.
So Captain Savik is stable. Okay. All right, so we got that one there. Okay, Thishran, you see him treating the captain very expertly, breaking out his stuff, getting everything there, and just like before you know it, like the wound is sealed, and she's already starting to regain consciousness.
All right.
You've also heard from Drake that the thing is still out there, much like the truth.
All right. I want to ask Drake to, hey, if you could get an idea what that was. I'm going to see if we can, if these mushrooms that we've got are okay.
Might I recommend seeing if we can get the ship going first? I don't want to get hit from underneath again. So I don't know how I can check on this thing.
That's a fair. That's fair. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll have a quick look outside to see if I can see anything.
Yeah.
Okay, by look outside, how are you going to do that? Just peering out the glass, or are you actually exiting through the back?
I'll exit for a
Okay.
moment.
All right, so you open the door, you head out. Thishran, you run over to the controls, you sit down again. Right now, it's just a black glass screen in front of you. And you tap a couple controls and they flicker alive for a second and then they go out again.
Yeah, we've got nothing here. It seems like the entire thing has no power at all.
Drake, you run outside, you run into the snow. And as you run out and look, you can see from the marks in the snow that the shuttle was actually shifted a couple meters away. Whatever slammed into it was strong enough to actually push it a few meters from where it was resting. There's a big mound of snow that dips in concave towards the middle where the shuttle was. So you can probably assume that's wherever the creature came out of and probably retracted from at the same time. But as you're standing out there in the snow, looking around, tricorder out, still unsure, trying to get better signal, you can see clearly that the nacelle on the side has been cracked wide open, and it's severe damage has been done to the casing, at least from an external point of view.
Can I head over and check on the nacelle to see how badly damaged it is?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you run over and look into it, and the outer casing has been broken open by whatever slammed into it. And while the inside it's not completely destroyed, there's definitely enough broken that it's probably going to interfere with the ship doing what it's supposed to do. You would have to do a scan to really figure out what the major problems are.
Oh, then yeah. That's what I want to check. So I'll do the tricorder scan.
Okay. Start making that roll, please.
Control science.
Yes. Or it would be control
wow.
engineering, actually. Sorry.
Okay. I'll re-roll.
This would be
Control engineering.
There you go. One. Okay, one. That's basically all you need, and that's an extra momentum that you could use for obtaining information. You see that one of the components has been damaged, and now what I would like to do, if nobody minds, let's see here. Where
I mind if you're going to use threat.
Well, I might, but not right now. I am going right to our lovely, if I may call it lovely, which I think I'm permitted to. I'm going right to our lovely Technobabble chart that I uploaded to Roll20 for you. And I am going to tell you what's wrong with this thing via Technobabble. So please hang on a second.
Can't wait.
I am going to do this very much. Okay, let's see. Oh, look at that. Yes, here we go. Here we go. It turns out that let's see here, the nano polaron displacement regulator of all things, the nano polaron, better make a note, displacement regulator. Yeah, Drake, it's just as you feared. Nanopolaron displacement regulator is just completely smashed. And with that,
Yeah, I read they had a
broken,
recall on those things.
yeah, I know. And you would think it would have been replaced by this point, but nope. But yeah, the nanopolaron displacement regulator is completely smashed, and there is going to be no way that you're going to get the ship off the ground without replacing that.
Can I not use the momentum so it's fix rather than replace?
No.
Oh.
However, you can still use the momentum, just not for that.
Can we use it? Okay, so it's obviously damaged and the ship's not gonna be able to fly, but can it still be in slightly working order that we can keep the heat on?
You might be able to finagle something using the power from the other nacelle, but that will be something that has to wait for a second, because here comes 2 threat on your way. And like, ha, where'd it go? Oh no, it's still there. Wait, there. It's disappeared.
If it doesn't disappear, it doesn't work.
I can make your momentum disappear later. Oh,
Okay.
Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Oh, momentum. Oh, nothing.
No.
Hey, right there.
Don't encourage you.
Yeah. Okay. if only the red worked as well. Okay. Okay. So to there, directly behind you, Mr. Drake, the ground erupts again. The ground erupts again. You hear this rumbling. You start shaking and shimming in very Star Trek fashion, and then the ground erupts. We're gonna have you here just for a second here, just to make thing, and we will put a. Give me 1 second, will you? I'm still trying to figure this out. You turn around, look, and the mound of snow picks up and just explodes into the air. Whereas when this large thing just rips out of the ground in front of you.
Ew.
I would say it's probably about, I don't necessarily judge the image you see on Roll20 because it's just all hodgepodge images I'm throwing down on there. But I would say the thing is probably, when sticking out of the snow, somewhere mid-range between the size of a hippopotamus and an elephant. So not quite as big as an elephant and not as small, if you want to call it small, as a hippopotamus, but it's roughly that size. And it comes out and it has on these big flaps around its head, which are revealing kind of little spiky talons, not teeth or anything, but it definitely look like they're for grabbing. But they're closed up inside this thing once it's open. But once it comes out of the snow, it opens like a flower almost, with the talons inside, and it starts doing its little worm crawl again in your direction, which is also direction of the shuttle.
Well, I'm gonna whip out my phaser and start firing a few shots while I try to get back onto the not the transporter. You've just said the word shuttle. There we go.
Shuttle. All right. So it's going to take you an action or a minor action to pull out your phaser. So you pull that out. Now you're dealing with a type 2 phaser, I believe. Yes. So your phaser, what it does is it has also, you could just fire it as normal, but it also has a charge quality. And charge quality lets you again set the level that you would like the phaser to be, which it could be like an area spread. It could be intense to kind of make it a strong hit, or if you're going for a kill, vicious would probably be the setting that you would go for it. Now, the other issue is you've already used a minor action to pull out your phaser right now. So any additional minor action, which setting the charge would be, any additional action would cost 1 momentum for each additional action, or each number of additional actions. So if you want to change it from just being a standard fire, you would have to spend the momentum to say if you want to deal more damage.
Well, at the moment, I'm not necessarily trying to kill it, more just get it the hell away from me,
Okay.
just to give me enough time to get back onto the shuttle. So I won't use that just yet.
Okay.
But I'm just taking pot shots at it while I get onto the shuttle.
Okay, then you will need to do a daring and no, this one is phaser. So control and security. Control and security.
And I've got a focus in hand phasers.
You have a focus in hand phaser, so you get the focus there. Anything else you want to use? This is going to be, of course, as a phaser, and it's in your normal range for phaser. It's going to be difficulty of 2.
I don't have any values that would really work here. I'm just trying to hit it to scare it away. So yeah, we'll risk it without getting any extra dice for the time being.
Okay.
I'm just trying to get back on the ship.
Okay.
And was that gone? Bloody hell, was it gone?
What you got? You got 2. So you got 2,
lovely.
you got a hit. There you go. So
Yay.
you'll need to roll your damage for the phaser. So it should just be click the delta icon next to the phaser, and that should do it if everything's programmed correctly.
2,
3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That looks right. It's supposed to be 7 dice. So yeah, that looks right. Because you have it's damage of 3 and you have security of 4. So yeah, that looks right. So what that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 hits on it. The effects don't count for anything because you don't have any this doesn't have any weapon effects qualities on it. For example, again with the charge, if you set it for intense, then it would lose resistance for each effect that rolled. So in this case, it would lose 2 resistance before it applies this 5 damage. If you set it for vicious, which is like saying the phaser's to kill, each effect would then count as 1 additional stress. So then that 5 would become 7 damage. So
Okay.
that's what those effects do. Since we rarely get into combat, I thought I should explain to you. Okay, you fire and yeah, 5 damage, and with the thing's resistance, you deal stress. So you hit it square on in its craziness, and it's going to. It's not knocked out. It's not dead or anything. But hang on, I got to mark how much stress it took. Okay, it's going to let out a bit of a shriek, not really a roar, and it uses its turn to dive face forward. It closes those flaps over its head. It dives face forward and just buries into the snow and goes underneath you again, just as you're able to get inside the shuttle. By now, Thishran and Thadagia, you heard the explosion, you heard the phaser go off, and you see Drake backing up into the shuttle with a shriek and another huge rumble shaking the ground underneath you.
So the tundra worm is the size of an elephant and is not happy.
I assume it's heading this way.
It just dived back underground, but it was coming towards us. So yeah, probably very soon it's going to be coming back.
All right, so I want to get
cool.
up and just go over to the main computer panel and just basically bang around, see if anything is even operating, functioning at this point.
Okay, right now, you get the same response as the Shroud that you tap some buttons to activate it and it'll blink on for a bit, but then it goes straight off again.
All right, we'll anticipate. Oh, sorry.
No, I was just going to say, explain about the nacelle being damaged and that the nanopolaron displacement regulator looks like it needs replacing.
Great. All right, well, I want to, anticipating this, I want to take measures to restrain the captain, at least secure her in case we get hit again. So that way she won't be jostled around as much.
Good idea. Okay. You don't need to roll for that. That'll just be natural. You'll just be able to find a good way to make sure that she stays secure.
And I want to suggest the same to the other two as well.
Okay, pop the seatbelt on.
You all brace and you wait for an attack, but it doesn't come. So the rumbling underneath stops for a bit, but then after a while, the trembling stops. So even the small trembling stops. So it doesn't look like the creature is coming back for an attack right this moment, but it's still out there and it's still angry.
Is it still on the tricorder readings?
Your tricorder is still giving you the same problem that it's all scattering. It's scattering the effect. You pick up the vibrations, but it's not giving you a clearer idea of how far away or if it's coming back or if it's just lurking. But
what type of emergency equipment do you have on board the shuttle, just in case?
You have your cold weather gear, you have first aid kits. One that I'm sure you're probably using on the captain now. One other thing there, since I can do that, I'm going to use one more threat to say that as you check your supplies there, Thadagia, you see that the little supply of medication that you brought for the captain has been damaged. So the vials are broken. You won't be able to give her the medicines that she needs if this lasts longer. Thishran, you want to check on that plant, sir. So the plant.
I want to check on the pods.
Yeah. Are you using the tricorder or are you just visually inspecting it?
Both. First the tricorder.
Okay. Then just give me your control science.
Okay. Let's see here. Oh,
okay, I didn't see that. 0. Well, technically, this is a difficulty 0 task, so you pass it. You just don't get anything extra to use, but you still have full 6 momentum again if you still want to spend that. Scanning the pods, they seem to be. It seems to be in good shape. It seems to be a very robust type of plant. Scanning it, there's no real visual or detected damage in it, just because of structure. So that's all you get with your scan. It's just a matter if you want to spend momentum to find out anything extra about it.
Um, at this point, I don't think it's that important, seeing as everything else that's going on at the moment.
Sure.
I think personal safety is.
Okay, so with the creature gone, I'm sure Drake, you closed the door again, right?
Well, yeah, I did that on the way in.
Okay, so the door's closed, so you're all closed inside there, but as you know, the sun is starting to set. It's starting to get cold, and the heat is now gone from the shuttle, so you know it won't be long until it's going to be extremely uncomfortably cold inside the place.
Okay, then first things first is probably trying to get the heating back on for the night. Yeah, so you said we could try and get that hooked up with the other nacelle.
Yes, so that would be something you'd have to go outside to do, but we'll get back to that in a second. So you're going to develop your plan for what to do for the cold, correct?
Mhm.
Okay. So Lieutenant Commander Velik and Lieutenant Darius Alder. Lieutenant Darius Alder will go back to you on the DeGrasse Tyson. You gentlemen okay over there?
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
So let's go here. So let's see. We'll do this scene in sick bay. So let me get everyone into sick bay. Oh, there's Velik. Okay. He's gone. That's him. And let me just get the picture. So the commander calls for everyone, of course, to go to sick bay and check on them. Lieutenant Alder, you were the first one to encounter them, so you are there too. Now, Commander Velik, you of course helped the alien children get from the transport room to sick bay because they needed all hands on deck basically to make sure everyone gets there safely, since you couldn't transport them directly into there. Now there's a large number of children, so of course I'm only going to put a couple pictures in there. A large number of children, so the healthy ones, they don't need a bed, so the healthy ones are being kept in a different area and just being monitored, but the ones who were injured, they're the ones that are in sick bay. Okay, the last ones to transport over are the two older aliens and Lieutenant Alder, and then all of you make your way to sick bay, and the scene will start there. If I could find sick bay, there we are. Thank you.
Ooh.
Okay. So you brought in the EMH. Mark, he is going to be treating them, as well as Dr. Ardun. But meanwhile, it's up to the two of you to get the information you need to figure out what exactly is going on with these aliens.
Okay, I want to head back towards that older of the two that I spoke to earlier on the ship.
Okay.
Did we get a name for him at all? Not yet, right?
Not yet. So
Not
you
yet.
can ask
Okay,
him
so
now.
I'm going to approach him and say, okay, it seems we should be able to treat all of you just fine, from what I can tell. I didn't have a chance to catch your name or your associate's name.
He looks at you, and he's looking a lot better than he was on the ship after getting some treatment from Dr. Ardun, and he gives you a smile. He said, "My name's Talbot Fotz. I thank you so much. You this place is amazing. And you say you're not with the Order, correct?"
No, we're just with the Federation, the United Federation of Planets, pretty much a scientific endeavor, which is why maybe our ship looks so amazing to you guys. I wanted to ask you a bit further, like on the ship when I was speaking to you, you mentioned the Order. Who are they exactly?
Oh, to be perfectly honest with you, I was just about to ask you who the Federation are. I've never heard of your group, and I've definitely never seen technology so strange. I mean, I think I know what it's for, but you use it all so differently.
Oh, how so? Like, oh, how do we use it differently?
Well, just look around, look at the way things are organized, look at the way things are displayed, and just how you set up these rooms. It's I'm not sure what you're even powering these systems with. Velik, that would also catch your attention too, because you of course are engineer and you know very well that this is pretty much the standard go-to style of building any kind of spacefaring ship for pretty much every single species in the Alpha and Beta quadrants, and even the Gamma quadrant with Dominion. They use a very similar style. So hearing that definitely stands out to you. Oh, either one of you could go on. I'm sorry, I wasn't just trying to
Okay,
interrupt. But
so well, Talbot, could I just want to ask you again then, where is your race from? Like where in the which quadrant or system?
quadrant. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Which quadrant
Or,
of?
what is the name of your planet, should I say?
Well, I myself was born on Beeman Prime, but our society, well, the Order covers a large number of worlds, and we are basically just assigned a numerical listing.
Okay, so your planet forms part of this Order?
Well, the Order controls nearly everything. I mean, there are the outlying systems that are sympathetic to the problems of those of us living in the Order, which I myself never thought that I would be one of the problems. But I'm so curious, how have you not heard of the Order? We are not that far from their main roots.
Oh, I don't think I myself have actually come across them yet. Perhaps our captain or first officer may have. I'm sure they'd be able to give you, be able to speak with you better about this. If I could skip over that, then, like, I was also asking the ship earlier, like, how did your ship come to be damaged and trapped here? Like, what led up to it?
Well, I'm afraid that was my fault. When he says that, the female alien steps up and, hang on a second. Everything going okay on roll 20 for you?
It seems like it. I see sick bay just fine.
Yeah, hang on a second.
It too.
What's that, Perry?
I said it looks fine for me too.
Yeah, I'm trying to move things around and I'm getting an error saying that it can't read the data. So hang on, let me just refresh
I
the
just
page.
tested and I can move my guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even see your guy moving, so I think maybe I just got booted or something. So hang on. Let me do that. But anyhow, the younger female alien, she steps up and she says, "Don't say that it's your fault. We wouldn't be here if it weren't for you." She turns and looks at Velik and she looks at you, Alder. She said, my name is Sharmek, and Talbot has saved everyone on that transport.
Sharmek, Talbot told me earlier that the Order is trying to take back the children. What do you mean by that?
I mean that they and myself, we were all designated as foundation builders.
What is a foundation builder?
You really don't know what the order is?
No, I don't. Which is why I'm asking. Are they aggressive at all?
Now Talbot speaks up. Well, the order controls everything. They are the society that we live in, and they are very strict with their rules. They want to create a better society for all members, and those who don't fit into that society for one way or another are quickly removed from it.
So those would be the problems you mentioned earlier then.
He nods his head.
And how is it that you yourself and the rest of your ship are problems? Like, how did you not fit into the order?
These children have been orphaned, and as there is no one to take care of them, the order has labeled them to be foundation builders.
Okay, I'll get back to you. I first would like to speak to my ship's first officer and maybe see what our next course of action is. In the meantime, I'd very much suggest you take your time to recuperate and rest here in the sick bay. And if there's anything you need, you're more than welcome to ask the doctor or myself or any other crew member you might see.
Thank you. I appreciate your kindness and your hospitality.
Of course. And then I'm gonna sort of make my way off towards Lolk's office.
Okay. Velik, what are you doing?
Just kind of listening to the story, trying to process everything they said about
Okay.
the children.
Do you want to go with Alder to see Lolk, or do you want to interview them more since you're still there?
Let's stay here with them just in case. Keep them talking.
Okay. So Alder will head you out there to sickbay.
So you said there was some strangeness about the way their ship is constructed, the way they use their. I'd like to get a little bit more information about that.
Okay. What would you like to ask them?
I don't really know the technical specifics about it. Just
That's okay. Make it up. just say it in as general terms or what you would like to know, and we'll make it work.
Okay. Let me just refresh stuff here.
Doesn't matter if you use technobabble or not. You could just say like the type of what kind
There
of
is
information you want.
There is a pretty cool technobabble generator.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at. That's what I'm looking at right now.
Yeah, you don't have to even roll dice on it. You could just grab a couple of the terms and make something out of it, like
Tell me more about your quantum conversion catalyst.
quantum conversion catalyst. I don't believe we have one installed on our vessel. Do you use that on yours?
Yes, we use them every day.
That would explain why things are set up so differently. If you're using a catalyst of that grade, I'm not surprised. Forgive me, I'm not the most trained engineer, but the order does try to provide a well-rounded background for all of its soldiers. That would explain why. Interesting. How did you come up with such an idea to use that on your vessel?
It's standard on starships in the Federation. Without it, how do you account for the spatial frequency alterations?
Oh well, for the spatial frequency alterations, of course we just use our standard isolytic converters.
Isolytic converters, really? That's interesting.
I was told that that was the generally accepted way of doing it, but indeed, I think our societies may not have met each other before. As he looks to you, he looks over to Dr. Ardon, he looks at Mark the EMH, like, I know I've not encountered any creatures looking anything like I see here in any of our textbooks. Where exactly did you come from?
I myself am of the Vulcan, but I was raised on Earth.
Vulcan, Earth, these are not worlds in the order. I can tell you that.
No, the Order is also sounds foreign to us as well.
The female runs up to you like, so the order has no influence over you, even though you use your teleportation techniques?
No, the Order has no influence over us. How we've come to use similar techniques may simply be a matter of simple deduction, or unless they somehow obtained our technology, but I'm not certain one way or the other.
Could, if your worlds are not associated with the order, if you're not aligned with the order, may we stay with your federation?
That is not in my position to guarantee, but we would have to consult with the rest of the crew and contact the Federation, Starfleet.
The older male, he steps up. Please, I implore you, if there's a way to do it, I would, for the sake of the children, they need to be saved. They can't go back. It doesn't matter that they are orphans. They deserve a chance.
Why is it that the Order looks down upon orphans?
The girl answers this time. She said, it's not just orphans, it's anyone who cannot contribute or be worthwhile to society. Those that demand more resources than they can provide are deemed unworthy. And those who still have some use, such as the children and myself, are deemed to be foundation builders, where that's exactly what we do. We build the society for them until we die from it.
So they essentially use you up and spit you out.
They use us up and grind us to be the mortar that their foundations are built upon.
It's monstrous.
And I had no idea, the man said. I was fortunate enough to be born in, well, not an elite family group. We were still well enough off that I was not exposed to the plight of others until my uncle became diseased. And since we did not have the influence to earn him treatment from society, he was sent to be a foundation builder. And I'm afraid that I thought I might be able to extract him from that situation, but instead all I did was get him and so many of the others that were locked away with him killed. And I made us all fugitives.
Well, you are safe for the time being, and we will see what, if anything, we can do for you and your people.
Please, Thank you, Mr. What should I call you?
I am Lieutenant Commander Velik.
Lieutenant Commander Velik. Thank you. I am in your debt.
I think I should probably go join at the bridge to talk about what I've learned as well.
Okay. And let's take you there. All right, we'll cut to the bridge right quick. Who is here that should be here and who is not here? Okay. There. All right, we'll do a quick bridge scene before going back. There we go. All right, so Velik, you arrive on the bridge, and now Lieutenant Alder is already conversing with Commander Lulk about what has happened so far. So you arrive as they are mid-conversation there. And fortunately, Chris has given me permission to speak for Lulk during this episode since he can't make it today. So I'll do my best to paraphrase for him, but I would not like to portray his character for him, if that's okay with everyone.
Sure.
Okay. So Lulk is listening to Alder's explanation of what he saw on the ship and what they explained so far about foundation builders and the differences in technology. And he's curious about this order that he talked about, and that's about the time that you show up, Velik.
Commander, I've just...
Sorry. No, I'm sorry. I just wasn't sure if you could hear me, but yeah, you always start talking, so please go ahead.
Commander, I've just been speaking with our guests, and I believe this order bears further investigation.
He agrees with you, and he wants to know more about what this order is and why has no one heard of them before.
They seem to have some aspects of our technical procedures, whether that is coincidence or if they have somehow obtained our knowledge, I do not know. However, this order seems monstrous. It uses up these people whom they believe do not contribute to society. In essentially, they become slave labor until they are crushed into nothing.
He agrees that it's a horrible thing and mysterious that something like this could be in existence not so far away from the Federation. But then he also presses you about the difference in technology, that it seems odd that their technology is similar yet nothing like what is used by any of the similarly developed species in this area, as well as the fact that their language is not even naturally decipherable on the universal translator, which doesn't require previous knowledge of language. It reads brain frequencies and extrapolates from there, but even so, it still couldn't do it on its own. So he wants to know if you have any thoughts on what's happening there.
The kind of technology, the way they use their technology, it seems quite outdated, is the best way to describe it. I wonder if the subspace interference that we found them in had some quantum implications.
He asked you to elaborate.
Perhaps it could be some sort of temporal rift or some sort of dimensional rift, but I am not completely qualified to assess 100% in either.
He thinks that might account for a lot of the discrepancies that's going on. So he asks that you and Lieutenant Alder try to figure out if that's the case, and if not, what it could be. But he also would like to know, Lieutenant Alder, what do you think on hearing this theory? And what you know already.
I think it could be a very good bet that that's what's causing this. I myself am still really surprised that we've never come across this order, especially as Talbot, their senior, one of their senior members, was telling me earlier that we're supposedly very close to their sort of center of operations, if you will. And yet they've never encountered us and we've never encountered them. So it's definitely something I think that Velik's on to, yeah.
Then Commander Locke agrees that the two of you should try to either work together and figure out if this is what's going on, or if there's another answer, or if you want to work on two different routes to see if there's maybe split your efforts to find something. It's up to the two of you, but as the two remaining senior staff members, he's leaving it to the two of you to determine your course of action for this.
Well, I think for me personally, as a science officer, I think maybe it's best if we work together on this and work towards Velik's theory.
The science officer would be more knowledgeable in this realm than myself, so I would concur with him.
Okay, then I think we're in agreement.
Okay, Commander Locke asks the two of you to get on as quickly as possible, because if there is a force as dangerous as the order sounds, he would like this to be discovered quickly and a solution presented as soon as possible. Okay, the two of you good with that?
Yep, sounds like a plan.
Okay, so start thinking about the course you want to take and how you might want to do this. We're getting close to time for our 10-minute break, so we might as well just start it a bit earlier. And then when we come back, we'll be on the ice planet. How's that sound?
Perfect.
Sounds good.
All right, so restroom break, get your stuff. When we come back, Drake, Thashran, and Thadasia, you're up. Okay?
Lovely.
All right.
Sounds good.
All right, let me pause the recording and we'll be right back after these commercial messages. Ugh. Thank you, computer. All right, we're back from our break and we are going back to the snow planet. All right, to make things a little more efficient, I'm going to give you the option. I'm going to give you all the options. So the three of you and the captain, who is now conscious, she's conscious, but of course she's immobilized. She's still injured. She's out of it. Her leg is pretty battered. She took quite a massive hit to the head. She's conscious though, so you would be able to communicate with her. The three of you, you're trying to get warm because the night's coming. It's going to be exceptionally cold at night, and now you no longer have a sealed, heated vessel to stay in. However, Mr. Drake went out and he found what the problem was already. He's already realized that it could use power from the other nacelle to, if you reroute that, you'd be able to at least get some heat into the place and some functionality, even though definitely flying's out of the question. But what I will offer to you is, instead of going through the routine of trying to do it manually step by step and making the rules and everything that might come up with the rules, if you want to, since it's already been established and you do still have a lot of momentum left, you can hang on a second. I gotta see on Skype real quick. You can bam, look at that. You could use 2 momentum to create an advantage. Oh, where's this momentum? Oh, it's gone. Oh, where'd it go? Hey, so you could use the 2 momentum to create the advantage of heating restored instead of going through the rules. But it's your choice. So if you would like to actually do the physical work instead and see whether it works or not, I leave that to you, but it would have you working through most of the night in the cold. But we could do the typical Star Trek fast forward sort of thing via advantage creation.
I'd rather not freeze to death, so my vote is to use the momentum.
I dropped it. So it's gone now. Can't use it. I dropped it.
Hey, I love the cold, but for the sake of Mr. Drake here, I think we should probably move on.
And then
Agreed.
just like that, it's gone. Oh, no momentum. Okay. Yeah, I love this.
A lot of
Okay.
fun with that, aren't you?
Yeah. Now that I realize it's happening, I think that's the most fun I've had since we started Star Trek. I make,
Wow.
Wow.
because
I
know.
you guys are
Oh.
just no, I'm kidding, but I don't get to do much. Come on, I just sit here and I just
Wow.
hey. All right. God, thank God I didn't buy a green screen or a blue screen. Okay, I apologize. Okay, I'm focused. I'm ready. I'm back. Okay, so heating restored is an advantage based on that. So let me pick that down. Heating restored. Okay. So the heating is restored, which again, it's only partially restored because of course, we all know how like just very and like crucially important the nanopolar on displacement regulator is. So with that being gone from one to cell, I mean, you can't get the full effect from splitting it from the air in the cell, but it will at least keep you alive through the night. It might not be the most comfortable warmth, but you're not going to freeze to death or die from exposure overnight. So your first night on the planet, you have some power restored to the shuttlecraft. You're going to get through the night okay. Before morning comes, I don't know how much sleep you're hoping to get because who knows what kind of day you have ahead of you, but is there anything you want to do while in the semi-safety of your shuttle before daybreak?
I'd personally like to try and work on my tricorder to see if I can modify it to better get a reading on the tundra worms.
Okay.
If that's possible.
And that's also another thing. You all know that your tricorders were not very effective in the last day because they haven't been properly calibrated to deal with this intense cold. So all of you could be able to work on that to get the tricorders calibrated again, just to make sure they have a chance to be far more effective in the next day.
Sounds fair.
So as Drake brought that up, that did come to mind. So again, this is saying for the cold itself, since that's a standard thing that you would know how to do now that you know exactly what the problem is. This is another thing where you could again create an advantage for the tricores themselves. So instead of going through the making a roll and fiddling around with it and hoping it works for each tricorder, it's still another chance you could spend 2 momentum just to make sure that the tricores are set for this intense cold weather operation. Drake, yourself, you would have to do a separate manipulation of your tricorder to try to get it scanning depths properly. But at least it would remove the problem that came from the cold that we established last time.
Yeah, how many momentum we've got now? 4?
We got 4 left, yeah.
Then yeah, again, I think personally use the momentum to fix the tricorders, and then I'll have probably a failed roll to work on the depth. Agreed?
Okay. Good with that? Okay, so then two there, it's not really creating an advantage, it's sort of removing the complication there that arose last time, which again, momentum can be spent to remove complications too, but that makes sense because Drake, you want to tweak the tricorders. So you're at least getting them prepared for the cold weather operation. But now I'm going to just ask you to do an engineering roll on your tricorder to get it. Because you want to specifically be scanning for depths. So I grabbed the wrong thing. This is going to be a control and engineering. And if somebody else wants to help him with it too, I mean, you could all be working together. So if anyone else is good for engineering, you got that.
Yeah, would be appreciated. Not my strong suit.
I can I guess I can aid as well. I'm not sure how well my engineering is compared to others, but
Yeah, my engineering's not all that great, so
Is
I
the
mean,
captain any good?
well,
Oh,
when she wakes up, she'll be fine.
She's awake. She is conscious.
she's awake,
Oh,
but
well.
she's maybe not in that kind
Yeah,
of
she was
condition.
talking about ducks earlier, so I don't know, probably.
Yeah, something wrong with her there. So Tadagio, would you like to assist him there?
yes,
Okay. Then
that will be
it would be a control and engineering, but you're only rolling one. You're only going to be rolling one die. So on your character sheet, it would be, God, what do they call that thing? I'm not looking at the sheets now. It'd be called a task roll of 1 instead of that. Don't think there's any focus that comes into play, is there? Nope.
Not for me, no.
no. I
Okay.
don't believe so.
Okay, let's take a look here. So nothing from the support, but Drake, you got 2. Oh, I forgot to tell you it would be a difficulty of 1.
Oh. Ew.
Yeah, but that's 1 extra momentum that's gained. So I apologize for that. But yeah, you pass it, the 2 you working together. You got your tricores both adapted to the cold, as well as you got yours more focused into scanning. So the next time you scan for the creature, it shouldn't have that scattering effect unless, of course, a complication arises again.
Is there a way I could maybe just kind of protect the pods, the plants, or anything like that?
Sure. How would you like to protect them?
Just make sure that, well, it's a cold planet, so I doubt the cold would be affecting them in any way. Almost just keeping an eye on them, making sure that since we've now collected them, they're not starting to like wilt immediately or anything like that.
Okay. Take a look at it. No, you don't see it wilting visibly right now. Without a detailed scan to see if there's anything going on chemically inside it. To your eyes, it looks okay. So you could try just securing it any way that if the creature attacks again, it's not going to get launched around the room.
Okay, yeah.
The while you're sitting there and Drake and Tadagia are playing around with the tricorder and you're getting that situated, the captain turns her head to you and she beckons you closer.
I'll lean over. Are you okay?
I believe I'm just fine, Lieutenant. I may have bumped my head, but thanks to the fast actions of Mr. Thadagia, I believe I'll make a full recovery should we ever depart from this world.
I imagine that we're going to have that happen.
I have no doubts of my own, judging by the skill here. However, I believe time may not be on our side.
Well, I mean, don't you worry, Captain. You got 2 Andorians and a Packlid here. Taking good care of you.
I'm assuming you misspoke about Mr. Drake, but I don't think that your attempt at humor has escaped me.
Just try to keep in high spirits, Captain.
Much appreciated, but you need not worry about keeping my spirits high, only this vessel high. Lieutenant, how are we going to get this off the ground?
Well, like I said, I want to say that Drake and Thadasia both are already on it. They're hard at work. It's making sure that the particular issues that we have are taken care of. The nanopolaron displacement regulator was giving us some trouble, but I think we'll have it taken care of. You just rest right now, all right?
Well, as much as I would appreciate getting rest and making sure I'm at full operational abilities by the time we do take off, I'm afraid I don't have that luxury, Lieutenant. I heard from Mr. Drake when he was explaining the situation that the regulator itself may be destroyed. And if it's not replaced, we are in a bit of a dangerous situation. Do you have any idea or any thoughts on what we might be able to do should this regulator not be replaceable?
Well, if it comes to that, I think we're probably gonna have to venture out and see if we can find any type of materials on this what, a moon, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, anytime, we're gonna have to see if we can find any natural materials on this moon that we could use as substitutes.
That's a very wise decision, Lieutenant. You might want to get on that first thing in the morning. Make as much use of the daylight as we get.
I'll do that. I'll get with Drake and Thadasia and find out exactly what kind of materials we're going to be looking for. And maybe we can scan the moon and see if there's any of these elements nearby.
Great idea, Lieutenant. Please don't consider me disabled in any way. Keep me informed on what's happening with your progress.
Aye, sir.
As you go off and do your thing, after the tricorders are all compensating that, Lieutenant Thadasia, when you check in on the captain again, she has a couple words for you as well.
Good.
Lieutenant, I'm not sure if it was from the impact I sustained and not thinking correctly, or if I heard you with no misinterpretation at all, but am I correct in assuming that the medication you brought for me is no longer usable?
Unfortunately so, Captain.
That is troubling. So I'm assuming I will be missing tomorrow's edition of it. Is that correct?
Yes.
Understood. And do you think that will have a severe impact on my motor skills?
At this point in time, I cannot say for sure. But I trust that I will do all that is within my power to ensure that you are stable and that we will get through this, you in particular, with very minimal injury or cost.
I have no doubt in your skill, Lieutenant, and I know that even though you may have received an unfortunate discommission from your previous assignment on the Bellerophon, I know it is not because of your skill.
Thank you.
So,
Captain,
yes, sir.
how are you feeling?
To be perfectly honest, I feel much better than I would thought I would have felt being thrown about this cabin and receiving quite a severe shock to the temple. But I'm in good spirits.
And mental functions intact?
For the time being, Lieutenant. I still recognize that there are 2 Andorians and 1 Packlet on board, as Mr. Thashran has said.
Yes. It is okay, Captain.
Now get some
Trust that
rest,
we
Lieutenant.
will. You too, and trust that we will take care of this. We will get through this.
I believe in every member of this crew, Lieutenant. Thank you. And last, before turning in for sleeping, Lieutenant Drake, the captain, wants to speak with you too.
Before Drake approaches the captain, I'd like to reach out and grab his arm and lean into Drake and say, Drake, when you're talking to the captain, just forgive her. She's a little delirious. She thinks you're Backlund. And as I walk away, I just walk away from him, and the Shron's grinning to himself.
Okay, Drake, you there?
Oh, right. I responded and was wondering why nobody answered. Okay, yeah, I forgot to unmute myself.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, well, I'm a bit confused by Thashron saying she thinks I'm a Packlet and how the hell I look like a Packlet, but I go over to the captain a bit warily.
Mr. Drake,
Yes, Captain?
I must commend you for keeping this vessel safe as possible when we came under attack by that creature a second time. Any idea what it was?
Well, for lack of a better phrase, I'm currently referring it to myself as a tundra worm, but I haven't seen anything like it before.
Were you able to get a good scan of it, sir?
Scan? No, I was able to see it quite well. However, I didn't get a chance to scan the creature itself as it started coming straight towards me, and I fired my shots to keep it away.
Well, I know your main mission here is to keep us all safe. However, this is still a scientific vessel with a science mission. If you get an opportunity in the future, it might be wise to get us a scan of what this creature is, and that may help us both in understanding a new life form as well as giving you more information on how best to protect us.
Indeed, Captain.
As usual, you are going to be left in charge here since I am otherwise indisposed at the moment. So when you venture out, whoever is to join you, you have the lead, Lieutenant, until a point comes where another member's knowledge or ability is required in your stead.
Thank you, Captain. I'll try to do my best. How are you feeling?
I believe I will be fine as long as we stay focused and we achieve our goals without much further delay, but thank you for inquiring.
Yes, Captain.
Now, you as well, please get some rest. I need you all starting as early as possible in the morning.
Yep, time for a chilly night's sleep, shall we say.
I'm sure you'll be just fine. Use those warm Starfleet coats that we have.
Yes, indeed.
And they're fashionable too. All right, so nothing happens during the night. So whether you take watch or not, and you have rotations, you're actually able to get a good night's sleep. You're able to get a night's sleep. Whether it's good or not is another question because of how cold it is. When you wake up in the morning and everyone's up bright and early, probably just before sunrise, yeah, you're rested, but maybe not, again, well rested because of just how cold it was. It might not have been the best sleep you had. Thadaji and Thishran are a little bit better than Drake, but even the two of you, you felt the cold all night. Getting better now, but yeah, still cold. So now as daylight is coming up, what is going to be your plan of attack for this day?
Well, I'm gonna check on the captain before we do anything, just to make sure that she's all right for the time being.
Okay.
And after that, then I probably want to suggest maybe if we can start repairing, I guess, the systems that are damaged, so we can get up.
Okay. The Shran Drake, what's
Yeah,
your plan?
I want to consult with Drake, ask him what kind of materials does he feel like we need to be scanning for this for parts for this regulator.
Well, unfortunately, as I'm not particularly talented in engineering, I can't say for certain that's something we will have to go out and check against the actual regulator itself.
Well, I'll do that. That weather out there is still chilly out there.
Yeah, it's not that great.
So
Am I aware of like the captain's situation? Obviously, Thadajia mentioned yesterday about the medicine breaking.
No, she's kind of kept this between the medical staff and herself.
Okay, fair enough. Then yeah, it's probably best if, well, the suggestion I'll make is that me and Tashran try and find out what we need and then go hunting for it. And then it might be best for Thadajia to stay here and keep an eye on the captain and the shuttle in case the tundra worm comes back.
Okay. Is that good with you, Thadajia?
That'll work.
So you'll stay at the captain's side while they go out and work?
Yes.
Okay. So Drake, are you going out with the Shran, or are you going to wait for him, the Shran, to check the ship first before you go out?
Unless he needs me, I'll let him go first so I don't start freezing straight away. But I'll definitely join him in the hunt for any materials.
Okay.
yeah, I'll be fine.
Fine. Attention. The Shran
And
just
he
got
was-
eaten by a worm. Okay.
He was never heard from again.
Yeah.
Before they depart, I want to
yeah.
hand them a stabilizer just in case they run into any trouble. Just hope they don't run into any injuries of sorts. But if you do, here's stabilizer. It's a pain reliever. It will help you.
Thanks. I
Okay.
appreciate that. I'll take that.
That's a good idea.
Appreciate that.
All right. Okay, so Thishran, you go out, and now this is really not your first chance because you were all working on the ship to get the heating going, but this is your first real opportunity now in full daylight to see the extent of the damage yourself with your own eyes. And yeah, definitely the the nanopolaron displacement regulator on the port side is just completely destroyed from the impact. That there's going to be no way to fix it, though it might be possible to try to again replace it with, or replace the more damaged components with any kind of similar metals with a similar conductiveness to try to at least mimic it. That still would not guarantee that you could take off, but it might at least give you full power back to the ship if the energy could run through both of the nacelles again. So
Right.
you would just know basically the type of metals you would be looking for and the type of materials that you would need to detect. So in order to do so, you would likely want to get onto a higher ground, because now you remember the shuttle landed in kind of a raised up little area there to buffet the winds to keep you from getting blown around by the chilled wind. So were you to probably climb up onto the side and do a scan, you would have a much wider range of a scan.
All right, so yeah, it would make sense to me that they were like scanning the regulator would have some type of schematics to say, hey, this is what should be there, and this is what they're made of. So yeah, I will do that. I'll try to find a high ground and see if I can detect anything
Okay.
useful.
Okay, so you'll just it's not a hard climb, and especially with you being Andorian, the cold's not going to get to you. So you scramble up to the top of the sloped hill of ice and snow that looms over the shuttlecraft. And as you're up there, you see like a widespread vista of the rocky tundra around you. Sun is still coming up, so it's still dark on the horizons, but you do have a nice clear view. So if you do a scan, we could do a control and science scan as well. You're trying to scan, let's see, you're trying to scan as far as possible, but with the conditions and the fact that they're adapted to the cold, we're just going to say it's a difficulty of 1 right now. So it's going to be your call if you want to use any momentum or threat to add more dice, or what you would like to do, or any value too, if you want to use a value, which is always on the table. No values used yet this session.
Yeah, I don't see any of the values that I have would really apply to this.
Okay.
How much momentum do we have?
3 right now.
3. I'll use 1 of those, I guess, just for
Okay.
this.
Okie dokie. All right.
All right. So control and science.
I gotta open up Windows. Here we go. Control and science. Did you roll 2 dice?
No, actually, hang on. Task roll. It should have been task roll 2, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I got you. Should we just roll just 1 again?
Yeah, just roll 1 more.
Yeah, I'll do that. All right. Oh, that was a complication on that one. So
That's a complication on that one. Okay, then what we'll do here is, well, you only need 1, so you got 1. No bonus momentum, or no momentum gain, I should say, but you could still always use your remaining momentum for obtain information. On the complication, I'm just going to take as 2 threat, because I'm going to possibly need that in the coming future. So we'll see about that. That's 7 threat right now for those keeping score at home. Where are you? Okay. So let's see. This Shran, did I open this window again? Yes, so you're on the ice planet. Good. So it's the Shran and put you up on the rocky outcropping there. There we go. Let me show where you are. So you climb up and you're just slowly and methodically scanning along the horizon, like passing, trying to let the scan take in as much information as possible. You don't want to move too quickly, because it is because it's such a wide angle, and you're trying to scan as deep into the distance as you can get, like kilometer after kilometer, try and get in. So the slower you move, then the more chances you're not going to accidentally jump across a huge gap of space further away than you can see. So you're really taking your time scanning as you're passing through. And can you see the full map? Can you see the full map on Roll20?
I can, yes.
Okay, so can you see this?
The purple circle.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing a purple circle.
Top
See it?
left.
Oh, hang on. Oh, yes. I
Okay.
do see it now. Yeah, I'm pulling it up on the.
So as you're scanning, like you're getting signs of mineral deposits, you're getting signs of different kind of like ores, and that possibly might have some use, but of course it's in its rawest form, until you get that ping about 2 kilometers to the north. You're detecting an artificial structure. It's clearly processed alloys and not a natural structure. But the signal is very faint, but it's clearly something artificial.
Okay. That's definitely gonna get my attention. That seems to be like a pretty far walk, though. Is that something that's gonna be safe, or do I need to find that out?
Oh, well, just glancing out over, I mean, you could see all the way to 2 kilometers. It's over, like, there's rocky stuff. There's not really mountains in that, just rocky tundra and that with hills and of ice and snow. You don't really see anything that's standing out to you, but again, with how faint this thing is, it might not be a large structure, but there's definitely something there. It's definitely a walk that could be made. It's only 2 kilometers, so in the conditions that it is, it would maybe just take a couple hours, 2 or 3 hours, depending on what you come across and how many detours you have to make. But at 2 kilometers, it wouldn't be impossible.
All right.
With the terrain you can see.
All right. So with that, I want to go back. I want to inform Drake and Thadash is what I found and let them know I'm going to be headed that way. I need to find out what's going on over there.
Sounds like a good idea, and I'll go escort you there as well.
You sure that's going to be, safe? You think Thadash and the captain will be all right here by themselves?
I hope so. I've been thinking about the creature, and it did seem to flee rather quickly when I hit it, which makes me question whether or not it is a predator and rather a herbivore of this planet. So, as a suggestion, if the creature returns and is persistent, I might recommend throwing the plants to it to see if that distracts.
That's not going to happen. I'm going to interrupt you right there. That's not going to happen.
I mean, we can harvest more plants. I don't think we can harvest another captain in Thadagia.
Well, fair enough. Just keep your phaser on stun. If you want to go out and grab another plant, you can do that. But the ones that's on that shuttle are going to stay there.
Well, the suggestion's there. But I think we need to focus on getting the materials for now and get off of this planet.
I agree.
And Thadagia, are you staying with the captain?
Yes. In fact, if possible, I would like to try to find my way to the highest point of the shuttle and just kind of watch them from above, keep this captain inside, with the door closed so she's safe and warm, but just kind of more or less scout out the area, just keep an eye on the area.
Yeah, if you climbed up to the side of the hill where Thishran is now, you would be overlooking the shuttle from above, and you'd have a view of them heading off in the distance.
Okay, and how far away is that from the shuttle?
Oh, it's just like right over the shuttle. It's not that far. It's just like up on the hill there. So the shuttle's kind of parked in a little snow bank pocket. So you're just climbing up to the top of the bank.
Okay. I'm just going to inform the captain that of my plans, and then
then
Thishran and
Thishran and Drake head off. Anything else you're doing before the two of you head off?
How difficult would it be to modify Thadagia's tricorder to read for the creatures?
Oh, not that hard. Not that hard now that you've done it.
Then might I suggest we do that as well?
Okay. So Thadagia, you'll at least be able to get those subterranean scans, and so you could just keep basically monitoring everything from your vantage point. Okay, so the two lieutenants gear up, head out, and Thadagia, you watch from above, and you see them go marching off into the breezy cold. Okay, let's go now back to the DeGrasse Tyson, if we may. May we?
We may indeed.
Velik, and Alder, Velik and Alder. We're going to, if you're going to be working on this problem, you're probably in the science lab, I'm assuming, or is there another place you want to be working?
I know I would be in the science lab for sure.
Okay,
Makes
With
most sense, yeah.
Talar, I suppose.
what's that, Velik?
I said just agreeing, said it makes the most sense.
Okay, so we'll put you both in the science lab here. So let me.
FYI, I've got a baby crawling all over me, so if it takes me a minute or two to respond, I'm still here.
No problem. No problem. Okay, so in the science lab, the two of you are sitting there working on the problem. Now you're trying to determine what if this subspace rift is a temporal rift. Is that correct?
Yes, from what I recall.
Or what are you exactly looking for if that's not the case? So,
It's a temporal or dimensional rift.
temporal or dimensional rift. There we go. Okay, then let's do that. We'll be using a sensor roll on here because you're scanning the rift itself. So that is going to be with, I would say, the chief science officer, Mr. Alder. You're going to be leading this role. So that's going to be a control and science for you, or it could be a reason science because you're basically taking scans before, so you're trying to reason what's coming in. So
yeah, I
reason
would
and
say
science.
reason science.
Yeah, that's probably best. Reason and science for you as the lead. For the support, Mr. Velik, how would you like to be supporting him in this scan here? What exactly would you like to be contributing to this?
Probably contributing analysis of whatever readings we're getting from the scans.
Okay, then that would probably be either an insight or a reason on science. So you're just trying to like apply any kind of logic to what's coming in and see how it fits with known data, correct?
So, Bull, sorry to hop in here. So,
no, please.
If Perry's doing that, like the thing that we can bring in then is I've got collaboration science. So whenever an ally attempts a task using that discipline, science in this case, I can spend a momentum immediate to allow them to use my score for that discipline and one of my focuses. So just in case.
Oh yeah,
that would help with the role.
So yeah, Perry, he could do that. So you're collaborating in science. So all you have to do, Terrence, is one momentum. Now, when it says an immediate momentum spend, what that means in game terms is that this is a momentum spend that you don't need to do a dice roll first for it to apply. You could spend the momentum to trigger it when it's needed. And because it's immediate, it also means threat can be used in place of momentum. So in a case where you have 0 momentum, an immediate action could also gain threat in place of momentum. So it's always available for you. That's what immediate means. Okay.
What's our pool currently sitting at for momentum?
Two momentum right now.
And threat?
Threat is 7.
7. Oh boy. Okay, so yeah, I mean, I might as well just then burn 1 momentum on that.
Okay.
Right.
Sure.
So I'll do collaboration. So Perry's got a better role for that, hopefully.
Okay.
And then
so Perry, what that will do for you, since you're rolling 5 and we're not actually holding physical dice, roll your engineering score with it because your engineering score is a 5. You're using Terrence's science score, which is a 5. So use your engineering score.
So reason and engineering.
Reason, engineering. Yeah, don't do your roll just yet, but just letting you know.
Well, something else too.
Yeah.
One of my values is science holds all the answers. Would that apply here?
That would apply, but the only problem with this situation is you're supporting him, you're not leading. So
okay.
If it was a support, now what a but the other issue is sorry, I'm trying to see what else. Yeah, you could potentially use that to create an instant advantage. But the problem is you already spent your determination from in the last game. So you don't have
Okay.
the determination use it. Remember, to get determination back, you need to use one of your values to go negative. No, wait, hang on a second. Perry, did we roll your to keep your determination last time? We did, didn't we? Your veteran? And we missed the roll, didn't we? I vaguely recall that, unless that was 2 episodes ago.
I have in my notes just says determination spent, so I'm guessing.
Okay. God, I think we did, but I'm not sure. But yeah, you spent it.
Okay,
So
no problem.
to get determination back, you have to use one of your talents in a negative way, not use it in a negative way, but you have to take a complication based on your value. So again, like Perry's violence is only ever a last resort. Since he doesn't want to engage in violence against a very aggressive person, then he takes a complication, which means like it's in a battle and that he should be fighting, but he's refusing to because he believes that that's a last resort and he's refusing to do it. So it hurts him. So in that type of negative way, if you do that with your value, then you'll gain determination back. Okay. So just always try and cover the rules. So Perry, your control and engineering 5, even though it's really science because you're using 5, and you're doing a roll of 1, a task roll of 1 because you're supporting.
What about focus or?
Yeah, I was looking at your focuses, and I think that observation and investigation both apply. So I would say yes to that.
Yeah. And complication.
Complication range, yeah, good question. Sorry, let me take a look here. I apologize. I'm still in the snow planet section. Complication range is, I think it's, no, got that. Terry, you got your roll?
Yeah, reason science, we're doing complication. What is the complication you're throwing on this? Just 2?
I'm looking here. So the roll is the task roll is 2. The complication range. Sorry, I'm just trying to see where I put it. I was still in the snow section there, so I didn't get to the right page. There we go. Yeah, this is going to be complication range of 3.
Ooh. There's a couple of things I need to go through with you because
yeah.
Would I be able to use any of my values in this? Kind of to bring them in.
Oh, I apologize. I apologize here. The complication range is actually 4 on this. That was a different scan.
4.
I was looking on a different page. Sorry. I'm sorry. You want to use a value, you said?
Yeah, I'm able to, right? Even though I used a value previous episode.
You also do not have your determination because you spent it in the last episode. So you can use your value again to create a complication for you, and that will gain you a determination to spend again later.
I suppose, like, if I'm going to do a negative value here, it would be more human than human, right? Where my social skills at a disadvantage with other humanoids, seeing that
you're actually yeah, that would actually fit. That fits your character perfectly, and that fits a negative value that you're having to deal with another, well, not human, but a Vulcan, and trying to collaborate with him. Right. So yeah, if you want to. Yeah.
So I can't immediately use that point of determination for a positive value on the same
thing.
Yes,
you can. Yes, you can. If you have another.
Okay, so
yes, you can.
More human than human because I'm working here with Velik as another humanoid.
Yeah.
So my social skills with him are at a disadvantage. But then because I'm doing this as part of a team, my other value would be doing my part.
That's a nice combination. That worked perfect. That works really good.
I think that that will go very nice. So that's +1 determination for that.
Now, are either of these ones you used in the previous episode that you can call back to of how? Like,
no, that was just puzzle solver was the previous one. So I've now used 3 of the 4.
Actually, you used doing my part in episode 2 as well with the Gene. With the Gene
with the
holographic
extended
people.
Task, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Doing my part. Okay, yeah. So that could actually call back to that. I suppose.
That's a milestone for you then.
Ooh, okay, let me just make a note of this so that I don't totally let it slip
Okay.
my mind.
So going back to doing teamwork and like, okay, well, it worked the last time, so might as well. All right. So here's what's happening then. That got extra
Plus,
complicated.
sorry, Bo,
Yeah.
I'm throwing as
Okay.
many things in
Please,
as
oh, go,
I
go,
can.
do it.
So
please.
I've spent 1 momentum. So Perry's got using my skill in that, right?
Yes.
I want to use the final momentum for just let me just see. Yeah, whenever you attempt to for cautious science,
Mhm.
whenever you attempt a task with science, you can buy 1 or more d20s by spending momentum, and I may
Yes.
re-roll a single d20.
Yes.
Okay, so I can already put that in now. So
Okay.
momentum spent. So I'll roll an additional d20 on that. So
Hang on a second.
this will
hang
be
on a second.
after it, right?
Hang on a second. I just want to ask, when you're using the doing my part, how are you using that determination point? Are you using that for what's it called, the perfect opportunity to get the 2 successes, or are you going to do it to basically cancel out the complication that you got from more human than human?
I'm just quickly going through the options here to see. Oh man,
Because if you're
would I
using
be?
it, yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, would I be able to do it with that option? Make it so character immediately creates an advantage that
Yeah.
applies to the current scene. So, in effect, like if I can put that into game world terms, then because I'm able to let's see, where is that thing off my sheet? Maximize computational efficiency under my traits, right? I'm going to
Yes.
effectively bring it in with that, and as I'm working as part of a team,
Mhm.
and as I'm using science and the sensors and the computers and whatnot, I've managed to get to an exceedingly high efficiency percentage, which creates me a really good advantage of being able to either read the sensors or the scans and that. So effectively, it's creating this advantage where I'm able to almost make better sense of what I'm seeing from these scans.
I love it. That's great. That is perfect. Okay, so you're going to gain that advantage along with having a complication of having to work with another human. So that's basically raising the difficulty up, but this is bringing the difficulty right back down for you.
So we would stick at 4, I'm assuming then, right?
So
because there's effectively no movement.
oh,
on
that
it.
the
Or 3.
the four is the complication range, not the difficulty.
Okay, so I need 4 successes on this.
No. The 4 is just the complication range. So that's if you roll a 20, 19, 18, or 17, it's going to make a complication. And for a second there, I was holding my fingers up to the microphone instead of the camera, as if like you see audibly. But it's
okay. So let me get to the actual roll. I'm going to use focus because I'm assuming this is like a combination of astrophysics, physics, and computers.
Yeah, definitely. You got plenty of stuff there that works in there. That was amazing, Terrence. I just want to applaud you on that weaving of everything in there. And
I had to get it just right. Plus, I suppose I'm knocking up task roll to 3 because I've bought that additional die, right? With cautious science, I think. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I thought you said brought an additional guy. I'm like, who did you bring? Bought the die. Yeah, that makes sense.
Talar.
So, yeah, Talar is there. What are you guys doing over here? Shut up, Talar. Go back to your corner. Okay.
It's like thick Brooklyn accent. Okay, so let me just go through because I've probably confused myself. So I'm using a focus.
I'm already confused, but go ahead.
Complication range of 4, task roll of 3.
Yes.
Challenge dice nothing.
Challenge nothing. Yes.
Okay. Cool. And now reason science.
And Perry, you're already ready. And then just see here, Gene, since you were without a computer for a while, can you roll for the DeGrasse Tyson too? Because no, wait a second. This isn't really using the outside. Hang on, let me look. The DeGrasse Tyson. Apologies there, since this is using just the computers inside. Yeah, I think it still works. I was thinking this was an exterior scan. Gene, can you open up the DeGrasse Tyson sheet?
Yes, let me see if I can pull that up here.
Is that working? Since you didn't get to do too many rolls because of your computer, if you can, that would just be a also computers and science. If you click on computers and science, task roll 1 and complication range 4. I'll set that already.
Right.
Okay, computers and science, and then yeah, just roll.
And that's under the DeGrasse Tyson, correct?
Yes.
There it is. Science. All right.
Okay. Yeah, so then Perry's going to be rolling 1, the DeGrasse Tyson's going to be rolling 1, Terrence is going to be rolling 3. Okay, so we got 5 dice. This is going to be, this one's a, well, rolls are going in, so. Okay, oh.
Oh, sorry. Was I
No,
too
no, no.
fast?
Yo, fine, go ahead. When you get 2 successes, don't complain, yeah. 2 successes on the single die. That's good. Okay. And see, oh, nothing but success on that, even with a complication range of 4, all successes across the board. Well, the good news is it was a difficulty of 2. That's what I was going to be saying. But you got 2, 4, 6, 7 momentum banked over top of that. So you're at 5 additional momentum back into your pool. Good job, everyone. As well as Alder, with your science officer using computers, you gain the bonus momentum for obtain information only. Okay. So here's what you all get. You've been working for a little while now in the computer lab or the science lab, the both of you. And Velik, you're trying to confirm all the data that Alder's sending your way. Alder, you're running the simulations and the scans of the anomaly, the ship, the subspace interferences. You scan for any kind of tachyon radiation or any kind of signs that it might be temporal in nature, and you don't find any of the telltale signs of temporal rift. So you start going into, okay, this must be something something along different lines, and like your next thought was interdimensionality. So you start looking for signs of that. And that's when you start, both of you start to see very clearly that the readings are showing that the telltale signs of what's going on comes from the subspace distortions. That factoring in, especially Velik, you apply what you experienced in the transporter room along with this, and both of you come to the conclusion simultaneously that the fact that Darius was out of phase when you transported him over and you almost lost his signal, it wasn't that he was out of phase so much, but the ship he was going to was out of phase. And now you start to notice that the subspace signature of this ship is operating at almost a polar opposite frequency as the subspace frequency of everything in the known galaxy, which could lead to a lot of very interesting ideas, which again, Drake, you have 1 bonus momentum on, so you definitely should spend that for more information, and you and Velik could decide what kind of questions you want to ask on it, and you got 5 more momentum in addition to that of what you, anything else you want to do.
Ooh, okay, well, I mean, obtain info. Any ideas on how we should use that, Perry? I'm not sure exactly what further we could find, what more we can ask exactly, especially maybe the subspace signal. Like, I need to figure out how to interpret that. Like, how did this ship, or how was this dimensional rift created, or where does it lead to? So we can get an idea of like exactly what part of the galaxy did they come from.
Yeah, I was thinking along the same lines, trying to figure out more about this subspace disturbance would probably be the best course.
Okay, so for your bonus momentum, do you want to ask like where in the galaxy do they come from?
Yeah, or Bill, let me ask you this way: is that something I can use obtain info for, or is it just a matter of me launching a probe into that dimensional rift from the ship itself?
Oh, well, I mean, I can just give you all the information that you have right in front of you right now with your scan without doing anything additional that might misfire or not get you the result that
Okay,
you need.
give me an info dump, Bill. Give me an info dump. My pen
Okay.
is ready.
Okay, so you're spending that one on asking where in the galaxy they come from, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that bonus momentum that you got, asking for that research, and you would determine that they come from exactly the same point in space that you encountered them from, but they are most definitely not from this universe.
Okay, so from a different dimension.
Yeah, anything that would have a different subspace signature like this means that is not something that was created naturally in this universe, but it's most likely natural for wherever they are from.
Okay, so yeah, they would have had some sort of quantum leap to get into this galaxy.
There's something that, again, it's a subspace rift, so definitely this thing broke into their frequency of subspace, and that is how their ship somehow protruded through into it, inside the gas cloud they are in.
Okay.
You
Is
still
there-
have, what's that?
Is the rift one way or is it both, does it work both ways?
Okay, so you want to use a point of momentum for that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you would potentially be able to go through as long as the rift remained open, so it would be two-way, but your scans show that practically right now, the ship that you rescue them from, it's a very narrow opening, and the ship is wedged in there, which is why you couldn't scan the back half of the ship. It's still in their dimension.
Bill, if I remember right, their ship the engines had an issue that they were actually gonna overload and destroy the ship, right?
Not overload and destroyed, they were just damaged and they were leaking toxic fumes. So their ship
Okay,
took
so
damage.
that ship isn't about to explode at any point. So
There was no
it's just
sign that the ship was
dormant
going to
there.
explode. Yeah.
Okay. Oh. Okay. Perry, any ideas? What do you think we should do from here?
Well, first,
I'm not sure.
what would happen if the ship became dislodged from the rift? Would the rift close or would it remain open?
That's a good question. That's your momentum spend, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you start running the simulations about the ship itself and whether it would remain closed in that. From the look of it, it looks like if it came out, it's possible that it might close on its own, but it would be really hard to say what would happen exactly with the rift. Would it close naturally or would it need to be closed? But just judging from the fact that the ship itself is wedged in it, it's probably on the verge of closing, and the ship itself is holding it open.
Okay. I want to spend one further point as well of momentum.
Yes.
I want to see, is that rift natural or man-made?
The rift itself seems to be completely natural. There seems to be no sign that it was forcibly created. But one thing that I'll slightly in addition, but parallel to it, is you see that it's sort of being stabilized because of the gas cloud that it is inside. Because normally a subspace rift would not remain stable enough to be used as a portal for anything because it just damages subspace. But looking further at the data, the gas cloud that it is inside has a very neutral composition, and it seems to be neutralizing the effects of the subspace damage. So it's kind of keeping it in a little protective bubble of a sort. That this rift itself is not opening directly into the galaxy, it's opening into this gas cloud that is kind of blocking it from doing whatever it would do.
Okay, well, I think that's probably all I need to ask unless Commander Velik has anything else he'd like to check.
Maybe one more thing. If the rift did not close on its own, would we have the means to close it somehow artificially, or do we not have enough information?
I would say without using momentum on that one, you would be able to use any prior known Starfleet techniques to try to close the rift. So it would be possible to close it should you need to, as it's a rift and it's not actual subspace damage.
Okay, then, yeah, that's all the questions I have for now.
Okay.
All right, but I think Alder, I would actually like to go then, or at least communicate with Commander Lulk again, just to inform him of what we've found, and then just check whether how he wants us to proceed. If we want to actually look at somehow making it possible for us to go through that rift, if we even should, or what he would actually suggest we do next then.
Okay. You relay the information to him, and he's a little hesitant about going through the rift itself. And he mentions more of his concern would be if there's this order that's out there coming through the rift on their own. It might not be a peaceful contact between the two societies. So for now, he's not really big on the idea of going through the rift, but it might be worth looking into how to get the ship itself, the deGrasse Tyson, prepared to make a trip, because you said that the frequency is completely opposite of what's in this galaxy. So he's wondering if that would have any kind of negative effects on the ship.
Okay, I think this is probably something again that I'd have to work with Lieutenant Commander Velik with to sort of either prepare or shield the ship from any negative effects if there are any.
Okay, so you could keep working on that for the time being, but for a second, you're going to get a call, Lieutenant Commander Velik. You get a call on the comm system. Commander Velik, this is Mark, the EMH in sickbay. Are you free, sir?
Lieutenant, do you need me at the moment, or would you mind waiting for beginning work on your own?
That's you, Lieutenant Alder, I'm sure.
Oh, sorry, I kept thinking about Mark for some reason. Lieutenant Commander, I could probably get started my own. You're more than welcome first to see what Mark needs and get back to me later then. Or I'll give you a shout if I need anything further as well before then.
Okay, please do. I'll return as soon as I'm able.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's go very quick to sick bay before we head to the next scene. Sick bay. Okay, Lieutenant Velik, you arrive into sick bay, and let's see if this guy's gone by now. The doctor's in his office. Okay, seeing the rest of it. Like, Commander, our guest would like to speak with you.
Very well.
Talbot rushes up to you, and Shar Mech also comes to his side. Like, Mr. Lieutenant Commander Velik, have you spoken with your leader?
I have. We've been trying to determine just exactly how you arrived in this location and why we have never heard of this order before now.
Yes, and what have you discovered? What have you decided, or is everything okay?
We've discovered that your ship you are actually from a parallel universe, and your ship entered our universe through some sort of subspace rift. At the moment, your ship is lodged within the center of that rift, keeping it open. And we are trying to determine what our next move will be.
Well, although I have to admit I'm a little scared. The female nods too. Being in a new dimension, it's so far, this couple of rooms that I've seen so far of your dimension are much better than where I came from. If it's possible to stay, even though it's a different dimension, it might be far, far, far more preferable than going back to face what the Order has in store for us.
Not sure if I should make any promises to them about that, so I think I'll just remain silent while they keep speaking.
No, but I do certainly appreciate what you do. Oh, he makes a wince and kind of like reaches for his stomach.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I don't know what that was all about. You hear the sound of something dropping and hitting the floor, like something metallic at your feet.
Okay, so I look down to see what it was.
It looks to be a ring, like just your normal fashion jewelry ring.
So I pick it up to examine it closer.
Oh, that's my ring. And he looks down at his hand and like, but that's strange. Like you see his fist is clenched. How did that? Oh, he grabs his stomach again. What's going on, Mr. Lieutenant Commander Velik? Mark hears the commotion. He comes over and starts scanning him too.
Unless I'm mistaken, my belief is you are coming out of sync with our dimensional frequency.
Mark the EMH is running his tricore scan over in like I'm not sure that that's ever been a medical condition I've had to scan before, but if these readings are correct, it certainly looks like that might be the case, Commander. What does that mean?
It could mean that you are snapping back to your own dimension.
Now, here comes to threat. Suddenly you start feeling vibrations throughout the whole ship. Things are slowly starting to rumble and shake, almost like they did when you first approached the anomaly in the previous episode. And then Talbot grabs his stomach and he just like, I can't even stand up. And he starts looking blurry in front of you as he falls to his knees. And very, very quick cut back to Science Lab. Science Lab, Mr. Alder, you're sitting there running your simulations, and you're scanning about the frequency, preparing the ship, what you do. And suddenly every single computer console, the one in front of you, everything you're looking, it gets locked out, and this giant Omega, Greek Omega symbol appears on every single screen in the Science Lab, and you're not able to access the computers at all. Just as soon as the red alert turns on in the ship with a boop, boop, boop.
Okay, first thing I want to do is actually want to quickly communicate with Lieutenant Commander Velik and let him know the computers have now been locked out, and I have an idea that the symbol is maybe from the Order. So I'd like him to actually check with, let's see, what's the guy's name? Talbot, whether that is indeed the Order.
And back in sickbay real quick, as you're getting this message, Velik, but you see also every single display in sickbay as well is showing this Greek Earth, ancient Earth language Omega symbol on it. And Dr. Arda is confused. He comes running out. Mark is tapping away at the systems, but nothing's responding. And meanwhile, Talbot is still on his knees and seemingly getting worse all the time. But we're going to jump to the ice planet real quick. I apologize. We got to go back to the ice planet right quick. Okay. Then on our ice planet, people, are you still there? Thashram, Tadajia, Lieutenant Drake.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
All right. So let's go here right quick. So on the ice planet, by now the two of you have trekked quite a way in a couple of hours. So the two of you are still marching through the snow. Just making small talk. Go ahead and make small talk while I finally reveal the areas for you.
Why the hell did you think I was a packlet?
I think the captain is delirious. I've got a lot of concern for her, to be honest with you. I think we just need to keep her in high spirits.
But a packlet.
I hit my head one time and thought I was a Klingon Targ for at least 3 hours. It's just head injuries can be a rough thing.
Okay, the two of you, you're still just tromping along the snow, crunching underneath your boots. Drake, you're getting colder and colder. I'm not gonna make you do a roll for that just yet, so don't worry about that. It's been a long walk. You're both feeling the exhaustion from it, but you keep scanning. You're getting closer. There's definitely some kind of artificial structure dead ahead, and you're getting closer and closer to it. As you make your way over, another icy hill comes sliding down. You pull out your tricores again, and you get that ping again, that it's right in front of you, just a few meters down the hill you have to run. And scanning with your eyes, you see there is something buried underneath a lot of snowfall. You see a very sharp, rigid edge sticking out of just a chunk of snow, but something is buried under a nice layer of snow down this hillside.
I guess I'm immediately gonna run over to it and start dusting it off, trying to knock the snow away.
Okay. You run down, you start brushing it off, and like your hand instantly hits metal. It's definitely a metal structure sort, and you're wiping your hand across it. You're brushing the snow. Drake, are you doing the same thing?
Yeah, once I see him run over, I'll join him.
Okay, you jog down the side of the hill, and you start brushing away. It's not buried deep in the snow, but it's definitely something that's been covered in a layer of snowfall. After a while, come and go, but it doesn't take too long until you're brushing it off, and you see it has a very smooth metallic hull underneath it. It's some kind of building structure or ship, but it feels very familiar, the way that in fact almost similar to your own shuttle, the way it feels. And as you brush it off, get closer down to the side, you get clear an area off, you see a very familiar red strip going across the side of this thing, the same kind of red stripe you will see on the side of a typical Federation starship.
Oh no.
Oh yes.
Can we keep clearing to see if we can find the identification code? That's
Yeah.
usually on the side.
Yeah, you start brushing it off more and more. You're following the strip down, follows it to the Delta insignia of Federation starship. As you brush it off the side more, you're clearing the side of the hallway. It becomes really clear that this is an older style shuttle. And the more you clear it off, you begin to recognize it as an older Type 4 Federation shuttle. The name on the side is the Wallace, and it has a designation of NCC 8109 of the USS Darwin.
What?
Being
I
a
think we
Type 4
just found our
shuttle. Yeah, go ahead, Terry.
I think we just found our ticket out of here.
I mean, yeah, but why is it even here?
That's not exactly our concern at the moment now, is it? It might not be a bad idea to see if there's anything left inside, though. I doubt there's any life signs here.
Yeah, I'd like to quickly scan for life signs before opening the door.
Okay, you start scanning for life signs, and yeah, there's definitely no life signs coming from inside.
Yeah, let's see if we can get this open.
Okay,
Alright.
the door itself is kind of jammed, but if you work together, you'd be able to pull it open manually.
All right. I'm
Let's
sure
go.
we'll give that a shot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, not even gonna make you roll for it now. We'll just say you, the two of you just keep working. You pry your fingers open because it wasn't closed up completely, and you're able to wedge and wrench it open just enough to look inside. There's a lot of snow that slipped inside. You can tell the shuttle itself was also severely damaged the more you clean it off, but it looks to be completely empty inside. There's no bodies, there's nothing.
Well, this is a mystery.
It is. Let's see if there's any power to this thing.
Okay, you start looking around and crawling inside to see if there's power, but I need to go back to Thadagia. Thadagia, can you give me a tricorder roll, a control and signs, please?
Cool, so,
Difficulty
yes.
0. Difficulty 0.
Alright.
Okay, there you go. You get 1 extra momentum. Okay, you're back up on the hill again. You keep coming up and down, checking in on the captain, then going up and scanning to see if you could detect anything from a higher vantage point. So you're back on top of the hill, and you're doing your routine pass to scan what you can, and you pick up on the horizon. You pick up a very troubling signal. You're getting sign that there is a massive storm heading your way. And right now
so
it's sorry.
Is this coming from the north direction from where
It's coming
Dishran and him?
It's coming from like due west almost, and it's coming west to east. So it's a huge, massive front, like a very insane blizzard from what readings you're getting here, with huge drop in temperature, high winds, and of course a lot of snow. And it's crawling due east to where, well, basically all of you are.
Okay. I'm going to Dishran. I'm detecting what
I'm here.
appears to be a storm approaching from the west.
How severe is it?
It doesn't look good. Is there any shelter that you can take place under? Perhaps a rock outcropping.
I think Drake and I will be fine for shelter. We just found an old type Federation shuttle. I don't think we're the first ones here.
Federation. No
Yeah,
signs of
yes,
life yet.
sir. None. No, it's empty.
Okay. Well, looks like this storm might be hitting us fairly soon. I'm not sure you'll be able to get back in time, so if possible, I would shelter down, and I'll do the same here, and hopefully this will pass soon enough where we can reconnect.
Understood. Drake and I will see if we can't get the ship up and running, or possibly just bring parts from it over there to repair the one we have. Just see to it the captain's taken care of.
Absolutely.
Okay. And just as you're closing off the signal, 2 more threat comes out here. And Thadagia, you're about to go running down the hill to check on the captain when your tricorder starts beeping again. And you look down at the screen and you see, just as Lieutenant Drake adapted the tricorder to make its subterranean scans, you see a blip of motion moving from the west, heading in the direction of the shuttle, just blipping in. And then it's immediately followed by a second blip behind it, moving in step by step. So now you have 2 beeps rushing in at a very high speed underground towards you and the shuttle. And
I'm also,
yeah, go ahead.
I want to communicate on open communication both to the captain and to Tushan and the rest of the crew here that it also appears that we have 2 of our visitors approaching also from the west towards our shuttle. Suggestions, whether I
And-
should.
Yeah, I like the word suggestions as a good spot to end the episode right there. So let's stop
Yeah.
the commercial break there, because like I just like the uncertainty of the word suggestions. I love that. So yeah, we're going to stop it there for the night. How's that?